Hello, guys. Listen, I'm afraid you're in for a little bit of a rant tonight. I had my car into the shop this afternoon, and my car, I got this a newer car, and I'm almost sorry now I did. I'm telling you, I had an older car that you could roll the windows up and down with handles like that you turn, crank windows, and you had to pull the doorknobs up by hand. And the seats didn't have any motorized seats. They had a type of seat where you reached down under and you pulled the handle and you could slide the seat back, or forward. Nothing was motorized. My new car, it's got these motorized seats and these. I noticed I started to get discontented with it this summer. Every time I go, I like to, I'm a big guy, and when I drive someplace around town in the summertime, I like to leave the window down and hang my arm out the window, or I'll put my arm up on, my shoulder up on the window when I'm driving around town. Every time I put my shoulder up on the window, this thing would pinch the door locks, door locks would pinch my arm, give me a darn good pinch. I have to bruise several times, and go, ow! That goddamn thing. And anyway, there's a lot of stuff with these new cars I really, really hate. I hate the onboard computers. I actually hate it. I hate the fact, with this new car, would you believe, I go around to the back end of the car. There's no place to put a key in the trunk. The key has got this button you push and it pops the trunk open. Every night I go out in the morning, my trunk's open. It's such a frustration, I can't leave anything in my trunk. Because it'll get stolen, anything of value. So I can't use my trunk anymore. And there's an awful lot of other stuff. So today I had to take the car into the shop because all these lights were coming on the dashboard. They got about 1,000 lights in behind the dashboard, and they don't tell you what it means. It was just saying, if I go to start up to say like code 5 on the thing, and it wouldn't show the speedometer anymore, it just shows code 5, and then another light would come on, and then it says code 95 and code 84. I looked over at Pop and I said, Pop, why don't these stupid car manufacturers, instead of writing code 95, which takes a certain thing, why don't they write what it is, like airbags? Or in this case, I had to take the car into the shop, and the mechanic did diagnostics, and he found out what it was. There's a throttle body. Why don't they just write throttle body instead of code 95? It takes up just as many letters, and then you wouldn't have to look up the code anymore. I mean, this is the kind of idiots we got working in these auto manufacturing plants. Okay? To put these cars together. These new cars are garbage they're selling us. They got too many bells and whistles on them. In the dashboard, there's this whole thing that's going on always. They got some sort of little servo motor or something inside the dashboard in this new car, and it's always going click, 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 click. They didn't even position the heater knob in the right spot. My knee keeps hitting it and turning the heater on. The heater is woefully inadequate, and they got about a dozen blowers up in behind the dashboard to blow the heat this way and that way. The old cars used to just have one blower. They used to have one big blower. Now they put like a dozen blower motors. It's getting worse and worse and worse. I'm going to tell you. In the end, honest to gosh, they'll have a neck strap that goes around your neck like this, and you'll have to answer the car. So a guy will get into his car, and he'll have to put all his other straps on, then put his neck strap on for safety, right? And the car will have control over the neck strap. The car will have a little servo motor that can tighten the neck strap. So you get into your car, and the car will talk to you. It'll say, "Hello, Mr. Jones. How are you today?" And then you'll answer the car back. So it'll have voice recognition. This is where we're going with this. See, I'm kind of pointing out to you what's going to happen like 5 years in the future. It'll have voice recognition. So when you first buy your new car, you'll have to talk to the car, and then it'll record your voice, and from then on in, it'll know who you are by your voice. So you get inside your car, right, and you put your neck belt on, the new neck belts, you know, and it comes up nice and snug against your neck, and oh, my nice new car and everything. And so you get inside, you say to the car, hello, car, how are you today? But you didn't notice the night before you caught a flu. And now you got laryngitis. So you're sitting in there, hello, car, how are you today? And the car says, you're not the correct owner. And all of a sudden you feel that thing go around your neck. This is where it's going. What it is we got these college people that are going into the auto manufacturing business, and they're giving recommendations to the auto manufacturers of all these new ideas and gadgets that they can put inside the cars. Like built-in vacuum cleaner inside your car, or maybe some sort of a thing where you got it so it beeps if you're backing up, you know, and it's got rear cameras that can see if somebody's behind your car. Oh, it sounds great, you know, and automatic parking so people don't have to parallel park anymore. A car will do it for you. And they got all these servo motors and sensors they're putting everywhere on the stupid cars. Well, in this case, my dashboard was lighting up like a Christmas tree. So I took it in there. Guess what? Honest to gosh, you can get a bad mechanic, and he can go through all these sensors and stuff and never find the correct sensor that's faulty. You know? And he can go all through, and he can spend all day and not find the right sensor. And he's working at like $100 an hour or whatever. And yet at the end of the day, you go in, you've been waiting around for your car all day, and you go in and you say, well, what about my car? And he'll say, well, we're still tracing the problem. It might be this sensor, it might be that sensor, it might be other sensor. Let's just replace them all, you know? And here's another thing. If they're going to make a sensor on these new cars, why does the sensor go bad just when the warranty expires? What's up with that? Okay? So I really got a beef. I happened to get a good mechanic today. And he was really good at finding the problem. And he found the problem sensor. He found the one that was giving me the problem, and he replaced it. Just the one particular sensor, and he did it quick. He was able to find it fast. You know? He knew his business. There's about 5 sensors that were giving trouble, but he was able to isolate the one that was making the engine only hit on 3 cylinders. And he replaced it. Now the engine is running good again, you know. And I don't care about the other sensors that are making lights go off in the dashboard, as long as they're not going to mess up my engine. I mean, I don't care what they do, you know. Anyway, so the car's running good again. That's all I care about. I got an oil change, and the car's running good. So anyway, that's that story. Now I want to go into a little bit of conspiracy theory with you guys. And it's my own conspiracy theory of what I think might be going on with Bitcoin. I was thinking about it today. I know something's up. This Bitcoin just didn't come out of nowhere. And it's genius. What's the reason for it? Why was it created in the first place? And I don't believe the whole Satoshi thing. I don't think there is a Satoshi Nakamoto. We've got a dozen different guys who are lining up saying, I'm him. Bullshit. They're not Satoshi Nakamoto. The real Satoshi Nakamoto is real Santa Claus. He ain't real. But what was the real crew that created this thing, and what was their insidious purpose in creating it? And I got thinking about this all day long today. I was thinking about this, and I was saying to myself, why, oh why? At first, a while ago, now I was theorizing, maybe a year ago or something, and on the channel, and you can look up the old shows, I was theorizing that Bitcoin was a beta test for something bigger that was going to come along, and once they got done testing it, then they were going to get rid of Bitcoin. This is what I thought like a year or two ago. I thought maybe they'd get rid of Bitcoin and bring out the new Fed coin or whatever, and that would, then they were only testing it. And Bitcoin was a big test. But, you know, I've been thinking about that theory more and more, and I've been thinking that it's wrong. It's probably wrong. That's not the plan at all. The plan is, I'm starting to think now, it wasn't not a test. And what I'm thinking is in a little bit different terms now. I know that the intelligence community, the NSA, are creators of SHA-256 or the underlying protocol that Bitcoin runs on. So I'm very suspicious if they created SHA-256 that they're not the creators as well of the Bitcoin itself. Let's put it this way: if there's any evidence to support who the actual creator is, look at the ones who created the underlying protocol that Bitcoin runs on. So, but the next question would be, well, why? Well, we know about this insidious plan by the globalists all along. They've had this insidious plan to bring down the world's financial system and usher in a new system, a new financial system, but not just a new financial system, a new world vision of the world, a globalism, a one world sort of a deal. They planned on linking together the Trans-Pacific and the European Union and the Atlantic cooperation between North America and the North American NAFTA and everything else, and they were going to pull it all together in the end to make this one world government, right? They even erected these things called the Georgia Guidestones. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's these giant stones down there that they erected that told their plan. It says their plan. It's chiseled in stone. You can go visit it. You can take a look at these, and it says that they only want 500 million people left on the earth, and they want an earth that runs in harmony and everything, all this kind of stuff. I don't buy it. It's just like Donald Trump doesn't buy the whole thing about global warming. I don't buy the whole thing that the world can't support all the people that's on it. I believe the world can support everybody that's here, and right now the proof of it is we're wasting everything. Look at how we build automobiles, for crying out loud. We build them so that they'll break. We build them so that they will break. It's called planned obsolescence. If we were to cut out things like that, if we were to start doing things so we did it just the opposite way, so we created automobiles so that they would last 40 years and be easy to repair, and so that we didn't change the automobile from each year to each year, we kept the same model going year after year, so you could take parts off of one that's 20 years old and it would still fit your brand new one. If we did it that way, we'd save the Earth's resources. Just in the automobile industry alone, if we were to change it that way, we could support an extra billion people than we have right now because of the resources that we would save. Maybe we could support 2 billion more people than we have right now. And all these really enormous people out there, enormous size. You see some people, like, they're over 1,000 pounds. You know? These people, a lot of them, not all of them, okay, there's a few really, really enormously obese people out there who don't eat very much, and they're still obese. But some of these enormously obese people eat a tremendous amount of food. Now, if you take the average small Chinese person, they eat as much. They eat more than 10,000 calories a day. Some of them eat 15,000, 20,000 calories a day. And some of these Chinese people only eat 500 calories a day. How many times does 500 go into like 20,000? Dozens of times. You know? And these people are having problems because they're so big. They weigh upwards, heading toward 1,000 pounds. They can't get out of bed. They get sore. They're in pain. Wouldn't they feel so much better if they could hop out of bed and run across the room because they were a normal weight? You know? Stuff like this needs to be fixed. And the people that haven't got the food, they need a little bit of the food that the enormous person's eating so that it all balances itself out more. Maybe they gain a little bit of weight and an enormous person would lose a little bit of weight. The world is not being run properly is basically what I'm trying to say. You know? We need to make it so that people that need help, people like these obese people that really need help, they need help. The help's not offered. They need help. They need possibly psychological help. That maybe some of them need high psychological help. Maybe other ones need some sort of diet, a dietitian to come in and talk to them and tell them what they should be doing. But they don't get that help. And the same way with the starving people over there that don't have enough food. They don't get help either. You got some of these humanitarian organizations and stuff, like the Clinton Foundation and stuff, you know. And you got these different organizations out there. Are they doing the job adequately? Are they really getting 100% of the money that they collect to the people who need it? That's the question I'm asking. So we got all these things going on, problems in the world. But now I'm straying off the topic. The topic is, what's the insidious purpose of this Bitcoin? Because it is insidious. Could it possibly be that the Bitcoin is actually, maybe when they first released it, they knew that it was going to grow and grow like a cancer. And they knew that it would continue to grow and grow and grow and grow until finally, once it starts to get to really be accepted worldwide as something of value, that at that point, exponentially, it'll take off. Now, it's kind of like at a certain point, when Bitcoin grows to a certain point, it's going to start to be accepted. It's not going to be in a bubble anymore. It's going to start to be accepted. At the same time, we've got all these fiat currencies that have been abused and used improperly, just like the rest of the system. Everything is wrong about the system. This is why people can't get health care, proper health care. It's because everything's being abused. What does it take to maintain the structure of the elite? How much of the Earth's resources does that take to maintain their structure through corruption? If all that corruption was straightened out, the world would have ample resources. The way I look at it, they don't really know exactly what they want anyway. They talk globalism, they talk a big talk about how they're going to do this and how they're going to do that, but do they really understand what the outcome's going to be? Because the outcome might be that they are actually messing themselves up. Not only just with their decision. But anyway, getting back to this Bitcoin thing. I mean, okay, I keep straying from the topic. What if it was designed as almost like an insidious way to get at the system and slowly bring the system down using the greed for the Bitcoin until finally it's almost like you flip a switch. Everybody in the world will say, wow, we all want Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin's the only thing that's going up in value big time. And every other asset class is going down. Once the dollar starts to roll over, once all the other fiat currencies start to roll over, and if they keep the suppression going on gold and silver, and the bond bubble starts to pop, and interest rates start to go up, and the stock market starts to roll over. Now, you heard what I just said. All those things are places people put their money. People put their money in dollars. People put their money in U.S. stocks and treasuries. People put their money in gold and silver. People put their money into the stock market. People put their money in all of these different places that you want to put your money. And a lot of you know exactly what I'm talking about because that's where you put your money. But Bitcoin is a new place to put your money. What if the money starts flowing into the cryptocurrencies and everything else is going nowhere? What you can buy with a dollar is losing. In other words, the dollar starts to go down in what you can purchase with it. So you don't want to put your money there anymore. U.S. treasuries start to lose their value. The treasury bubble starts to pop, so you can't put your money there anymore. It's almost like rats trying to get away from something, and they go to the exits, and the exits are all blocked. Okay, so you can't go anywhere. And say the only exit becomes crypto. Well, then more people are going to flood in. The crypto is going to continue to rise, and everything else is going to be blocked off. It's going to be the only asset class left in that case. And this is what it's pointing to me toward, because let's just go through the list real quick. I know the dollar's going up right now, but I think everybody's in agreement that the dollar is headed towards some major inflation. So the dollar's going to lose purchasing power. So you're not going to want to store your money there once it starts to lose purchasing power. Okay, so there's number one gone. U.S. Treasuries. The yields are going to start going up. That means your treasuries are worth less money. And I mean a lot less. Okay, so there's number two gone, the place you store your money. The stock market's ready to roll over. Say the stock market starts rolling over big. Okay, there's three places to put your money. Gone. You know? What are you starting to have left? There's not many places. Is your gold and silver. Say they're still keeping this game going and suppressing the price of gold and silver. Because we all know they're doing it. Say they're able to keep that game going a little bit longer. And you decide to put your money there, and gold and silver is still staying low. And say the only avenue at that point would be cryptocurrency, and everybody in the world is watching cryptocurrency go up higher and higher and higher. They're all going to flock on board. It's a no-brainer. But what's that going to do to the financial system of the world? Are we equipped to suddenly make an exit away from the fiat currencies and into cryptocurrency? Nothing's set up for any of this. It would cause disruption worldwide. What would that disruption look like, and what would it do? Maybe this is the plan. To bring this disruption, and at the same time, have cryptocurrency go to the moon, and at the same time, maybe they're holding tremendous amounts of this stuff in all of the different coins. They've been manipulating the price behind the scenes, so that when this all transfers over, they'll be richer than they are now. And they're already rich. You know, these globalists. Maybe cryptocurrency, and they come along too. Look at it this way too. They come along too, and they fooled all of us into thinking that cryptocurrency is a way away from the bankers, and it's a way to store your own money and store your own wealth. Well, it is. You can store your own money and store your own wealth, but what if the government decides to put in a database and keep the record of where all the transactions go on the blockchain themselves? What then? Then they can track your transactions. So not only do they get the disruption, not only does it make them richer than they are now if they're big-time holders, which they could be. We don't know where all the Bitcoin are. What about the millions of Bitcoin that were pre-mined before Bitcoin even come on the market? Slathers of Bitcoins were mined already. What about them? They've never surfaced. You know, I got a lot of questions about this. There's very little answers out there. You know, but I don't see it going away. I don't see cryptocurrency dying or anything like that. Right now we're in a bear market, but look, it's still like $3,700 or whatever. That's 37 times higher than it was when it started this mountain about, not that long ago. What was it, a year ago or something? Wasn't that long ago when the price you could have one for like $160. Now it's like 3,700. That's not moving upwards in price. Even if it falls to 1,000, it's still way up from what it was a couple years ago. You know? And where's it going to go next when it takes off again this next time? Last time it went up, the cryptocurrency market capitalizations went up to $750 billion. Where will it go this time? And at what point does it hit $1 trillion? Does it hit $2 trillion? At what point is suddenly everybody going to sit up and say, hey, you know what? Our dollars are losing value. Our treasuries are losing value. Our gold and silver is losing value. Everything else is going down. But look at cryptocurrency. Oh, my God, I should have got into that. You know? At what point? And then they're going to say, I should have got into that, and I'm going to get into that. And they just keep chugging it up higher and higher and higher. At what point does that actually happen? And at what point does it start to cause such disruption because everybody starts to want to get out of everything else and get into crypto? Could this possibly be their plan? And could this be what we have coming in our very near future for cryptocurrency? Thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye, guys.